Welcome back to Piers Morgan Uncensored. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has today been accused of gutter politics after personally posting an attack ad tweet which claimed Labour's on the same side as criminal gangs smuggling migrants into Britain. Well, Labour itself was accused of the same thing after a viral marketing campaign accused Sunak of not believing abusers should go to jail. And if you think we've got it bad, take a look at this conspiracy-laden video posted in America today. The video was posted by an arm's-length group which makes viral pro-Trump content, and Trump often shares their videos.
If I was the deep state and I wanted to destroy America, I would rig the election with a puppet candidate. I would create a false flag that allows for mail-in ballots. I would be in charge of the ballot counting machines. I would create a false flag to blame all who question the results of the election. I would make sure all crimes I ever committed never happened. I would prosecute my biggest competition. I would make sure they could never run for office ever again. I would push my pedophilia ambitions on you.
Well, that goes on for several minutes along the same lines. Are these the new moral battlefield of which next year's elections are set to be fought? Joining me now is political strategist and pollster Frank Luntz and Donald Trump's pastor, Mark Burns. Well, welcome to both of you. Frank Luntz, you tweeted this is the most alarming political ad you've seen this year. Why?
I still don't know how to describe it. I don't know how to respond. I was so stunned at how divisive and how negative and how it's designed to create anxiety and fear and genuine dislike and distrust of people. Piers, at some point, you have to say enough is enough. And I'll be curious to hear from the pastor when he counsels the former president, is this really who we are as a people? Is this really who we are as a country? Does this add or detract from our political discourse? It's getting worse and worse, and this ad frightened the living hell out of me, so I expect you're going to see a lot of it as a result.
Right. So, Pastor Burns, I mean, I watched it, and it just is... This is what I call rabbit hole conspiracy theory claptrap, masquerading as mainstream politics. I mean, surely you wouldn't defend a lot of what you heard and saw in that commercial, would you?
Well, Piers, let me just say this. There's a reason why President Donald Trump is leading in the polls statewide. There's a reason he's leading in the polls nationally. There's a reason why he is still the front runner, even though you had all of the fraudulent indictments that are coming against them, led by the Biden and his DOJ, which has been weaponized to essentially interfere with an election. There's a reason why the American people are still choosing Donald Trump, because he is literally the modern day Julius Caesar, right? It was the senators, the elite, that killed off Julius Caesar. It wasn't the common man. Donald Trump speaks to the common man, and that's why he's having a two-tier system in America, and they're tired of it, being led by people like Joe Biden and the Biden crime family.
But Pastor, in relation to what Frank just said, is it healthy for America or American politics or American democracy that you have such a nihilistic ad like this flying around social media, such a dystopian look at the country? You know, America was built on unity, of a country that was welcoming to all, that fought together to become the greatest country on earth. This kind of thing looks to me like it's an incredibly divisive attempt to brush off everything that's negative about Trump as absolutely invented by the deep state. They're all out to get him. He's Julius Caesar. The knives are flying in his back. It could be that, you know, a lot of the stuff that Trump's been alleged to have done is completely true, and he shouldn't have done it. We'll find out in the court cases. But why would you, as his pastor, be happy for such overt negativity to be swarming around America?
Well, Frank, what is truthful, and you hit it right on the nail, that the American Revolution took place because the people came together for truth. Like, we had no representation, right, in England. So the people came together because of truth, fact. And the fact is, right now, we have a government that is pushing a DOJ to be weaponized against Donald Trump. But number two, we are changing sexes in America. There's a reason why Donald Trump is touching the Christian community by saying that he would not allow grown men to participate in female sports. The fact that we're questioning the identity of biology, male, what is a male, what is a female, but not questioning Pfizer, not questioning the COVID vaccines that has literally done harm. That's not conspiracy. People are actually in the ground, right? That is not a conspiracy.
Well, yeah, but
Talk
also,
to the young mother
Pastor, again,
who died,
Pastor.
Let me finish. Who
No,
took the
let
vaccine
me just
and
interrupt.
they died. So the American people, Piers, want truth.
Okay.
The American people want fact. They don't want to be held in the dark anymore.
Yeah, they don't really want to hear. I don't think a pastor should be saying that the only thing the COVID vaccines did was put people.
Jesus
well,
himself
hang on,
took
Pastor.
On this type of,
Pastor. They don't want to just. They don't want to hear. I don't think it should. I don't think a pastor should be saying the only purpose of the COVID vaccine.
You clearly not reading my Bible because Jesus himself had to deal with the Roman season. Jesus himself had to deal with those who spoke against.
Pastor, this is my
church.
My church, not yours. I don't think. Let me come to Frank.
Hung on the
All right,
cross
Pastor, thank
because
you.
he was willing to go against the political elite of the day because he gave the truth.
Pastor, what you've just said about COVID vaccines was not the truth. Yes, it had some adverse side effects, but yes, actually, it saved a lot of millions of people from going under the ground. Frank Luntz, what do you do when you have Donald Trump's own pastor who signs up on all this stuff and thinks that actually it's all true?
You ask a question rather than make a statement. Is this the proper discourse that we should be having on your show? Is this the kind of behavior that we should be emulating for your children? Are these the priorities? Are our kids learning what they need to know to be successful in university, career, and life? Is this the right approach? My challenge in this is that I don't necessarily disagree with a lot of the points either raised by the pastor or raised by the ad. It's how it's done. And Piers, I've come my entire career, I've suddenly figured out that there's some things more important than election. Decency, civility, respect. These are values that a good country champions, and we're losing them in America. And one last point. We don't have to demonize each other to prove that we ourselves are correct. It doesn't require the destruction of the opposition, who are not the enemy, but the destruction of the opposition to promote the things that we promote. And here's what you've always stood for. And I'm sorry for this conversation because, frankly, it's an embarrassment.
Yeah, Pastor, all I would say to you, Pastor, is your job as a pastor, surely, is to bring people together, not to fuel division. And when you speak, but your idea of what the truth is and mine might be different. You should be able to respect the fact that I have a different opinion to you, or that Frank does,
Listen,
or that
the reality
other people
of it
do.
is, okay, Piers, so I get all that. I hear what you're saying, but the reality of it is you're ignoring the fact that there is but two sexes in the world. There's male, there's female.
No, I agree with you about that.
Right now, we have a society that's trying to tell us otherwise.
Pastor,
that is not
you're
true.
barking up the wrong tree. Pastor, I agree with you about that.
That Donald Trump is fighting against. This is why he's leading in the polls. This is why he's raising money, because he is God's anointed. And I understand that the powers that be, like yourself, who are coming against. And I love Frank Luntz. I love Frank, right? But Frank, of course, he, as much as I love Frank, and thanks to you, Frank, my father has got knee surgeries. You and I had a great conversation years ago. So I love you and I respect you. But you also said that Hillary Clinton was going to be the next president of the United States of America. So we know that you don't like anything MAGA, but the American people do, right? And the American people are behind Donald Trump. That's why he's leading the polls, because they know the Biden crime family has weaponized the DOJ. Listen, if we're going to talk about videos, how about you talk about DeSantis' video and his Nazi imagery? Or how about his homoerotic video that he just produced a couple of weeks ago?
We're not here to talk about DeSantis. Final word to you, Frank. Make it quick, please. We're running out of time.
I'm sorry that I did this interview, and I appreciate that the pastor likes me. This is so inappropriate for British audiences, for American audiences. And if this is the direction we're headed in, Piers, we're going to have a really bad 18 months.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. It's got to be a more civil way to debate. I totally agree, Frank. Good to see you both, though. Frank, thank you for joining me. Pastor, thank you for joining me. Maybe go a little easy with the President Trump next time you see him. Tell him to just dial things down a bit. Dial it down a bit. Dial down the rhetoric. Not everyone has to hate each other. Just have different opinions. Good to see you both. Thank you.